Hello and welcome to your yoga studio. My name is Kate and I'm going to be walking you through a simple Sunday flow today. We're going to be, keeping it nice and light, and simple and easy, just moving our bodies, preparing for the week. Maybe you had a long weekend, and you can do this flow whenever. It's going to be about 40 minutes and just kind of awakening the body and connecting with yourself, connecting with your breath, and finding intention. So find a comfortable seated position. All you need today is a mat, some comfy clothes to move in. You can put up some candles, make it extra special and fancy. I have some candles going. You can add some crystals, anything that you feel that brings intention to your space. This is your space to connect and ground and be present. So let's begin. Grab a mat. Option to grab blocks if you have them. Our flow isn't going to need blocks, but always modifications to bring the floor up to you. If you need a little extra support, if you're feeling really sore, anything like that. So find yourself in a comfortable seated position. Sit bones rooted to the ground. Getting the wiggles out a little bit, finding your spot. Sit in any way that feels comfortable for you. It could be on your knees, it could be sitting on a block, a blanket, anything like that. Taking a few deep breaths here to cleanse. And when you feel comfortable, you can close your eyes. Inhale and exhale, just with ease. Nothing too hard. We're keeping it simple today. I want you to bring focus on your breath, noticing where in your body you feel your inhales and where you feel your exhales. Yoga allows us to find stillness and connection and union with our breath, with ourselves, with our body, and being able to just be present to that is so important. Maybe you take this time to set an intention for your practice. That can look like a word or a phrase to help your mind connect with your movement to bring in something deeper. We'll take 2 more breaths here together. When you're ready, before you open your eyes, bring awareness to the way your body feels on the floor, the way your sit bones feel on the floor, your legs. And then picture yourself in the room, in the space. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. We're going to start with a few spinal movements. So bring your right hand down to the mat, inhaling your spine tall. When you think of a tall spine, picture like a string from the top of your head getting pulled up to the sky, kind of connected to your spine, all the way sitting up straight. Bring your right hand to the mat, inhaling your left hand over, and bend over to the right. Feeling that stretch in that left side body, but also making sure to keep your left hips and sit bones on the mat. So if that means you're stretching like this, Totally fine. This is your practice. This is your space. Do what feels good for you. See if with each exhale, can lean a little bit deeper. And on your next inhale, come back up to center and move to the other side. So planting that left hand down, inhaling that right hand overhead. And elongate and stretching through that right side body. And coming back up to center, we're going to do a little bit of a spinal twist. Bring your right hand to your left knee. Inhaling that spine tall again, bringing your left hand behind you. And with your exhale, twisting, using that hand a little bit, twisting to look over that left shoulder. See if you can, with every exhale, if you can twist a little bit deeper. Again, if your twists look like this, totally fine. Do what feels good for you. And exhale, untwist, and then we'll move to the other side. Bringing your left hand on your right knee, inhaling your spine tall, and exhale, twisting over to the right side. And one more breath here. And we'll come back to center. Now we'll meet in a tabletop position, bringing our wrists and hands underneath our shoulders, bringing our knees underneath our hips into a neutral spine. With our inhales, we're going to inhale, look up, and drop our bellies down. And this is cow pose. And with our exhales, we're going to round our spine, tuck our chin to our chest, into cat. Feeling yourself pushing the floor away. And then inhaling back to cow. And exhale to cat. Rounding the spine, tucking the chin. Moving through your cat's cows with your breath at whatever pace feels good for you. Maybe you need a little extra love in one position. I always love the feeling of cat pose, stretching through my shoulder blades. Connect with your breath. One more cat-cow here. Inhale and then exhale to cat pose. And then adding in any other movement that feels good, whether it's kind of wagging your tail back and forth, moving your hips, doing a couple circles, moving through those wrists a little bit. Always remembering to breathe. Okay, before we move into our first down dog, option to bring some blocks if you want some blocks to the top of your mat. I'll just put them up here for now. And I'll show you how we can incorporate them once we move through our down dog sequence. So we are going to go back into your tabletop position. You're going to step your left foot back and then your right foot back into plank pose, and then pushing through your hands, shifting your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Now moving through, pedaling out your feet. You can bend both knees, just kind of finding some movement here. So really good stretch for back of your legs, those calves, hamstrings, but also finding weight in your pointer finger and your thumbs, bringing your knees and your chest together. A lot of people focus on dropping your heels. You can definitely do that. You don't have to. I cannot drop my heels all the way down, so I like to bend my knees and make sure that I'm elongating my upper body. One more deep breath here. Continuing to find any movement that feels good. And then we're gonna inhale our right leg up and step it in between our hands, dropping that back leg down, unhooking the toes. And here's the option to grab blocks if you need to. So for me, my leg is pretty high compared to my torso. So in my low lunge, it's really nice for me to open up my heart, my chest, to lean into that hip flexor. Always an option to grab blocks to find that deep stretch. Or you can always put your hands on your knee and kind of push and lean forward a little bit, sink those hips forward, feeling that stretch here in that left leg. Deep breaths here. And we'll frame our front foot with our hands, tucking those toes, lifting that back knee, and we're going to bring our feet to match the back of the mat, shifting back into downward facing dog again, pedaling out those legs, and then lifting that left leg to the sky and stepping that between our hands at the top of the mat, dropping our back knee, unhooking those toes, and always an option to grab those blocks again, or just sink into that knee, making sure that your knee is in line with your ankle. You don't want to be bending too far forward, but sinking into that hip flexor. One more deep breath here. And planting our hands down on the mat, tucking those back toes, lifting that knee, bringing those feet to touch, downward facing dog. And we'll look to our hands at the top of the mat, and we'll walk our feet all the way up to meet our hands, bringing our feet shoulder width apart and folding forward here, finding a deep breath, stretching through our back of our legs, and then slowly rolling and rising all the way up to standing, lifting those arms overhead, and then bringing those hands to either side. And we'll take a deep breath in, raising our arms over our head, and then hinging at the hips. We're going to fold forward. Exhale, forward fold. We'll inhale, bring our hands to our knees, shins, thighs, halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant those hands, step back into a plank position, and then we're going to shift slowly all the way down to the ground. Unhook those toes. Having our hands under our shoulders. We'll inhale our heart and chin forward, baby cobra. One breath here. And then coming down to the ground. And pushing into those hands, tucking those toes, shifting back into downward facing dog. Walking those feet to meet those hands again at the top of the mat. Forward fold. And then inhale, slowly rise all the way up to standing. Deep breath here. And we'll inhale, our arms over our head again. Exhale, hinging at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, bringing your hands to your knees, your shins. Flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, plant those hands. Step back into a plank position. Now we're going to go through our vinyasa a little bit different this time. We're going to drop our knees. Come halfway down, 90-degree angle with our arms pushing forward into cobra pose, keeping our knees on the ground, looking up at the sky, and then tucking those toes, coming back into downward facing dog. Looking to the top of our mat, stepping our feet to meet our hands, forward fold. And inhale all the way up to standing. And hands to heart center. One more time through that again. Inhaling our hands up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Planting those hands, stepping those feet back. Now, option to do either of the other two chaturanga versions that we did before, or you don't have to drop your knees. You can shift forward, come down halfway, flipping those toes into upward facing dog. You can see my knees are lifted off the mat. Heels are neutral, breath here, and then shift back into downward facing dog. And we'll lift our left leg or right leg up to the sky, step it in between our feet. And before we rise up, making sure that we have good base for our legs here. If you need to come in a little bit closer with your feet, do that. You want to make sure your feet are on different tracks, like railroad tracks. And then you'll rise up to crescent lunge. You can keep that back heel lifted. Try to straighten that back knee, sinking down, arms up by the ears. Deep breath here. If you feel a little wobbly, always an option to widen out your railroad track legs. Give yourself more of a stable base. And we'll pivot that back foot down and open up into warrior two. So bending into that right knee, at the top of the mat. Our back foot is parallel to the back of the mat, feeling our weight in the outside edge of that back foot, bending into that front knee, bringing your arms up parallel to the mat, and looking over those front fingertips. Warrior two. And we'll flip that front palm and reverse our warrior, bringing that hand all the way up to the sky, and that left hand on your back left leg, lightly touching. And we'll come back into warrior two. And we're gonna bring it forward, bringing that right elbow to that right knee, lifting that left arm overhead into extended side angle. Opening up that heart to the sky, feeling that rootedness through your feet. Inhale, come back up to warrior two. Cartwheel your hands down, step that foot back, and choose your own vinyasa, and we'll meet in downward facing dog. And we'll lift that left leg or other leg up to the sky. Bring that foot in between those hands, finding your base, rising all the way up into crescent lunge. And we'll open up to our warrior two, looking down at our feet, making sure that we are in a good position, having our front heel aligned with the middle of our back foot, and then leaning into that front knee, bringing our arms up and looking over those front fingertips. And we'll flip that front palm and reverse our warrior, bringing that back right arm to touch the back leg, looking up at the sky. Make sure you're bending into that front knee. Coming back to warrior two, shifting forward, bringing that front elbow to that left knee, that right arm overhead, opening up that heart to the sky, extended side angle. Remember to breathe into these poses. Coming back up to warrior two, then cartwheeling our hands to frame our foot, stepping that foot back into plank, and then choose your own vinyasa, or you can just meet us in downward facing dog. Deep breath here. And we'll lift that right leg up to the sky, step it in between your hands, and then we're just gonna walk our hands to the middle of our mat into a wide-legged forward fold, paralleling our feet to each other. Feel free to adjust your feet at any point. We'll inhale, kind of like we did earlier with a flat back, and exhale, forward fold. We will be here for a few breaths, so choose whatever movement that feels good. If you need a little extra stretch, leaning into one side, leaning into the other, whatever works for you. You can bring your hands to your ankles for a little challenge of balance, or bringing your hands kind of behind you, feeling that stretch in the legs. Whatever feels good. Remembering to breathe as you stretch. Starting to find a stillness, bringing your hands back under your shoulders. Inhaling, flat back again. Exhale, forward fold. And then just bring your feet in together, or just, we're going to be sitting on the mat next. So bring yourself all the way down to the mat. Good job. Good flow. That was good. Strong legs. So we'll bring our right leg out to the side, bending our left in. Do a little bit of a lateral stretch again, reaching for that foot, bending over that leg, feeling that stretch in the left side body. And then coming back up to center, and then squaring your shoulders towards that leg, and then bending over straight. Feeling more of a stretch in your hamstring. Walking yourself back up, and then we'll switch legs. Bring your other leg out long. Side body stretch, reaching for your feet. Bringing your arm overhead and stretching out that right side body and your legs. And coming back up and squaring your shoulders to that foot, and slowly walking your hands down, stretching, and exhaling to fold over. And walking yourself back up, bringing both feet out in front of you. Shake out those legs. You worked them hard. Inhale your spine tall, just like we talked about at the beginning, feeling that string pulling the crown of your head up to the sky. And exhale, fold over those legs, reaching for your toes, grabbing whatever you can. I cannot reach my toes when I do it like this. Always an option to bend those knees if you want to go deeper, or grabbing a strap, because that also feels really good. Walking your hands back up so you're in an upright position. We're going to shift forward a little bit, bending those knees and engaging the core. And we're going to slowly roll all the way down onto our backs. tuck your knees, bring them into your chest, give yourself a little hug. And bring that left leg out long. Hug that right knee into your chest. And then twist it over to the left-hand side, bringing your right arm out to a T, into a supine twist. Making sure to keep your shoulder, your right shoulder, on the mat. And my knee, you can see, is just kind of floating because I'm not as flexible of a twist. But you can always bring a block here if you want a little extra support. I'm okay with it just floating. You can bring a pillow, anything like that. And untwisting, bringing your right knee back to center, giving yourself one little squeeze of that knee, bringing that right leg out long, hugging that left knee to your chest, little squeeze here, and then twisting to the other side. And breathing into the twist. And we'll bring your knee back to center. One more twist, or one more hug into your chest here. Bring that leg out long. Reach your hands overhead. Give yourself a full body stretch. Reaching as far as you can, pointing those toes, stretching those fingers. And then bringing your arms to either side of your body. Letting your feet relax. And finding our final resting pose, Shavasana. So allow yourself to breathe deep. Feel your body melt into the floor as you consciously relax. Focusing on your breath, inhales and exhales. Maybe also bringing to mind your intention from the beginning of practice. Starting to bring awareness to your body on the floor, feeling the air on your skin, your inhales and your exhales, and where they are in your body. You can start to move your fingers and your toes. Slowly starting to come back to this present moment in the space. And when you're ready, can roll over to one side and come up into a seated position, moving slowly, resting your hands gently in your lap, taking a moment to find gratitude for your body, for how it holds you, how it carries you, how it's with you. A moment of gratitude for your mind, for finding stillness and peace. Bringing your hands to heart center, closing out our practice together. The light in me recognizes and adores the beautiful light in you. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed your simple Sunday flow, whether you're doing it on a Sunday or Monday or any day of the week, anytime. I hope you'll come back to your yoga studio and we'll get to practice again together soon. And let me know what other yoga flows that you're interested in following along. And I'll be putting out some more videos, and I'll see you in the studio next time. Bye.